Do you want to know a good Aventus killer? What's up, fragrance family? I'm David with the Fragrance Bros, of course your best source for everything fragrance related. Today I have a really great video that I've been wanting to make for a while. Of course it is on the best Aventus killers. Now, Aventus is a fantastic fragrance. I have a full review up here if you want to go watch the full review. It's an older review and it's very long, maybe a little bit cringy. But I still hold the same opinions that I do about Aventus. Here's my bottle of Aventus right here. Aventus is a phenomenal scent, and it is probably the king of citrus fragrances. Very, very masculine scent. I think it deserves the hype that it gets, but I do recognize that there are people that don't like Aventus for several reasons. So I want to give you a few good alternatives to Aventus. Some are clones, some are not, some are cheap, some are not. So without any further ado, let's kick off the selection with my first choice. All right, so everyone wants to know a cheaper alternative to Aventus. Aventus, I think, is worth the money. Some people don't think that. But even if I think it's worth the money, there are still people out there who can't afford a full bottle of Aventus, even at discounters. So having a good, cheaper alternative is a great choice if you're on a budget. The best, cheaper alternative to Aventus is Pineapple Vintage. It's somewhat of a clone to Aventus. It's not exactly the same. I have a full review up here if you want to go watch that. We talk about this versus the other Pineapple Vintage fragrance, Pineapple Vintage Noir. And it's a very citrusy fragrance in the style of Aventus. Very reasonable price. Now there are several versions, and recently they have launched even more versions that are kind of riffs of other fragrances like Sauvage, etc. What you want to get is the original Pineapple Vintage or the Pineapple Vintage Noir. Now, Pineapple Vintage Noir is supposed to be kind of like a smokier batch of Aventus. Vintage has a little bit of a variation in ingredients sometimes. Some people think that some are smokier than others, some are fruitier than others. I haven't experienced much of a variation in my Aventus, and there wasn't much of a difference between Pineapple Noir and the original Pineapple Vintage. So I guess it's just whatever you feel like you would like more. If you like the smokier, darker version of Aventus, definitely go for Pineapple Vintage Noir. If you like a fruitier version, go for Pineapple Vintage. All right, so the next criticism that people have about Aventus is that on some people it doesn't last. Now on me, I have not found that to be the case. I have not found that to be the case on some people around me. But if you want a longer lasting, more powerful version of Aventus, definitely go with Orion by Tiziani Terenzi. Now that one is very, very close to Aventus, and I would say it's kind of a clone in a lot of different ways. It's stronger. Another criticism that people have about Creed that I'm completely agreeing with is that they have really bad presentation, box and bottle. And although it's not a deal killer with me, some people really want something, if they're paying the money, $200–300 for a fragrance, they want that also in the presentation. I completely understand. I mean, come on, Creed. You hear that? That's the plastic cap rattling around because it doesn't actually fit. There is a sticker on here with a bubble where they should have fixed it the right way. A terrible presentation by Creed. So yeah, definitely check out Tiziani Terenzi. They have a great line. This one is Nero. Here is the box and bottle. If you want to see it up closer, I have an unboxing video of this one. You can check it out. Fantastic. This one's obviously a little bit different, but similar bottle design there. So check that out. And has really great performance. So go check out Orion. Now, some people actually are the opposite. Some people want a quieter version of Aventus. Maybe Aventus is too loud on you. It's pretty loud on me, and that kind of annoys my wife sometimes. She likes very light fragrances. Some people, they work in environments where they can't wear very strong fragrances. So maybe they want to smell like Aventus, but it's way too strong. The perfect solution for that is Musk Imperial by Atelier Cologne. One of my favorite fragrance lines. Musk Imperial smells very, very similar to Aventus, but it's lighter. It also has a somewhat cheaper price tag, which is great. You can buy a 200 milliliter bottle of it, which is great. So if you don't mind a lighter fragrance, or if you prefer it, definitely check out that one. So those are great clones. Now, what if you like certain aspects of Aventus, but you don't want a clone? Maybe you want a slightly altered version of Aventus. Maybe you don't want the birch smokier aspect. Maybe you don't want the pineapple. Maybe you just want a darker fragrance. Maybe you like Aventus, but you want something that's just a little bit different. Maybe kind of a riff on the same idea, but going in a different direction. The next set of fragrances I think are great alternatives to Aventus that aren't clones. So again, let me be clear, these are not clones. But I do think that they share kind of the heart of what Aventus is, which is a very masculine, powerful, citrusy scent with a kind of woodier type of base there. All right, so first on the list, I think is no surprise, and this is Sauvage by Dior. This is my bottle because I really enjoy Sauvage. I also have a full review of this if you want to go check it out. Sauvage is a very simple, people-pleasing, citrusy, musky scent. And though it's not a clone of Aventus, it shares a lot of the same character traits. Very masculine, very powerful, and really easy to wear, very, very likable, much like the original Aventus is. Aventus kind of set the trend in recent years with very masculine, powerful, citrusy scents. And to me, I think this is an answer by Dior for their version of that. It focuses on bergamot and ambroxan with a little bit of a spicy characteristic in the background. And you can find this anywhere for a great price, so definitely check out Sauvage if you haven't already. All right, next is Kunak by Yosh. Another brand that I really, really love. This is probably my favorite in her line. Kunak is a great, great masculine scent. It has a similar structure to it, where it has apple and citruses at the top and a really strong leather and vetiver quality in the mids and the base. And this makes it to where it's a very likable, very rich smelling, powerful masculine scent that I really, really enjoy. It does not get enough love and credit that it deserves. Kunak in German means king, and this definitely has kind of a kingly, rich, prestigious kind of feel to it. I have a really thick leather belt that I wear all the time, and the leather in this smells very similar to an actual belt, which is rare in a lot of fragrances. Aventus has a little bit more of a universal appeal. Kunak, I think, has a slightly more mature feel. That kind of fits on me because I'm in my 30s, but some people might not be able to wear it as well. So just keep that in mind, but definitely worth checking out. Kunak, amazing. Next is Cedrat Bois by Mancera, another one that is a very, very powerful scent. And this one gets a lot of comparisons to the original Aventus. And I understand the comparison, though it's not an exact clone. It has some wood, the Bois, and it has some citrus, the Cedrat. There's some citrus and woods in there. There's dried fruits. There's some cassis in there, black currant. Like Aventus, it's very masculine, powerful, citrusy, and woody. I haven't had a whole lot of time with this one, but it's very, very good and is a great alternative to Aventus. Next is Straight to Heaven from by Killian. Now, by Killian, another one with a fantastic presentation, especially if you get the one in the coffin case. I mean, come on. This one has a little bit more of a boozier quality to it. So there's rum in there. There's a good bit of cedar in there. There's some dried fruit and there's some nutmeg. And all of that kind of makes kind of this boozy, almost buttery, woody scent that is just kind of a more luscious, boozier version of Aventus. And it smells really rich and luxurious. Definitely go check out this one. Next is Bleecker Street from Bond Number 9. This one may be a surprise to a lot of people, but I have talked to some people who get almost an Aventus vibe out of this. And I did too when I first smelled it. There are almost no notes in common with this one and Aventus, but there's something about it that kind of has a similarity to it. Now this one is a very dark green, balmy, almost wet fragrance. I really like wearing it when it rains. There's something about it that just has kind of almost a somber feel to it. It's really, really good. Some of the notes in here are violet leaf, cinnamon, jasmine, cassis, oak moss, and caramel. And it's almost a really bizarre note list. You would think that all those notes would just kind of make just this jumbled mess. But It turns out that all of those make this fragrance that is something like you've never smelled before. That's what I really love about Bleecker Street. If you like the darker aspects of Aventus, but maybe you don't like the citrusy apple, pineapple top of Aventus, definitely check this one out. This one is almost all mid and bottom notes, and that's what I really like about it. It retains a freshness, but it's almost like an ultraviolet or red shifted type of freshness. It's not this bright fresh, it's a dark fresh. And that makes it really, really interesting, and it smells fantastic. Next is Scent of Peace for Him from Bond Number 9. And this one may be no surprise to a lot of people. When it first came out, it was compared a lot to Aventus. And it's definitely not a clone at all. It does have pineapple, which anytime you mention pineapple, everyone says, does it smell like Aventus? No. But again, though it's not a direct clone, it does share kind of a family resemblance with the freshness on top and kind of the darker, woodier base. It has bergamot, pineapple, jasmine, and black currant. And the black currant brings this juicy, fruity, almost peach-like quality to the fragrance that is great. It has almost this sparkling, effervescent top, which is really, really nice and is a great, great, great fresh scent. Next is Neo by Serge Off. Serge Off is an Italian company, and they specialize in kind of just the Italian perspective on scents, which is citrus based. And they do a great, impeccable job on their style. Neo is on there because some people have called it an Aventus killer. And I don't think it will replace Aventus for most people, but for some people it might. Their presentation and their performance are great. And Neo is no exception. It lasts a long time for a citrus-based scent. Whenever you smell Neo, I think you'll do what I do and you'll go, wow, that is great. And it is a very, very bright citrus scent, almost hyper bright. Now it does have some more depth besides the citrus. There's some woodiness in there, and there's a little bit of spice in there and some greener notes. So if you're looking for that ultra bright, masculine citrus scent, this should be on your list. All right, so that's all I have for my recommendations for alternatives to Aventus Killers. Now, what do you think of these? Are any of these in your wheelhouse? And do you have some other Aventus Killers? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on your way out. I'll love you for it. I'll see you next time. I'm Dave with the Fragrance Pros. Bye.
Winner! Supreme victory! Perfect.